what we are trying to do in this session before dinner is, we are trying to highlight defining a strategic roadmap for enhancing operational efficiency and manufacturing excellence in the chemical industry. So my first question, which is common to all the panelists here is, and the question is with respect to what is the current status on reinventing operational efficiency and manufacturing excellence? What's your company plan with respect to operational efficiency and manufacturing excellence? And how are you planning to achieve it? So let us start with my panelist, Mr. B.M. Patel on my right-hand side, and then we'll try to move up from there.
Good evening. So I'm from DCM Shriram Limited, and Prashant wanted to understand what is the roadmap for DCM Shriram to improve the manufacturing excellence and operating efficiencies. So first of all, let me define what is excellence. So for us, excellence is all about how we are constructing or building our asset, how we are managing our asset, what are the kind of systems and processes in place to monitor the efficiency and excellence in the asset, and then lastly the people. Because at the end of the day, whatever kind of technology we are putting in, but who is going to operate and maintain is the people. So mindset and behavior of leadership, that drives the overall actions. Because at the end, how people think, how people decide, and how people take routine actions will redefine the excellence and the value-added operating efficiencies. What we are doing is, so we are operating one of the largest chloroalkaline site of the country, that is 2,250 tons per day. And this site has grown up from maybe 150 tons a day to now 2,250 tons a day. So there are a lot of variability in the setup, variability in the construction, variability in the operations. And you know, variability kills the efficiency. But it is, in another way, I am seeing it as a friend also to improve. So right now our focus is more on how can we optimize this variability and develop some kind of algorithms and mathematical models which will help operator to take routine decisions. So that is the way we are seeing, and that is what our roadmap to improve the efficiency and do the add value to the business.
Thank you, sir. Anant ji, if you can dwell on it.
Yeah, thanks, Pravin. And welcome everybody to this last session. We see a little dull faces, which is understandable, absolutely. हम भी थोड़े dull से हो गए हैं, by the way, by this time. But the topic is definitely of a huge interest to, I think, everybody in the industry, whether it's a chemical industry or it's any other industry. And I think prima facie, most of the organizations would be following similar roadmaps, except for focus on maybe a few other things. But primarily, what we at Deepak Nitrite are trying to do is, today we know that efficiencies, when we talk about efficiencies, we are talking about various areas. First and foremost, everybody is looking at cost competitiveness. So we have chalked out our strategy in terms of how do we bring about our cost improvement plans. We are, and this would be multifolds in terms of energy efficiency, debottlenecking, etc., etc. But largely, the other important aspect which we are trying to focus on is in terms of doing it in a compliant manner. And we are not at the moment looking at perfection. So we are trying to do it as fast as we can. So in digitalization parlance these days, people call it MVP, minimum viable product. So we are going ahead with that. So let's reach one milestone first. And then we can look at perfection maybe at a later stage, so that quick gains are there. Compliance is one big area which is having a focus right from the customer end, as well as regulatory compliances are becoming critical. Everybody is talking about ESG, etc., etc. So that's another big focus area which we are having so that we have continuity of operations, which also directly or indirectly helps in bringing about operational efficiency. So primarily focusing on these areas, and then the skill, because ultimately all this has to be done by the people. So if people have to do it, then people skill necessarily need to be upgraded. And we are obviously trying to use various tools, and we'll talk about it as we go along.
Thank you, sir. Subhat ji, if you can elaborate on it.
Yeah. For Aarti, when we talk about manufacturing, first and foremost thing is the value which we have for safety and sustainability. For anything and everything, when we start talking about it, that the foundation is that it has to be safe and it has to be compliant and it has to be sustainable. And within Aarti, actually about 2 years back, we have created a definition that, we said that we want to be world-class manufacturing. And when we say world-class manufacturing, it means that we want to be efficient, not only into the processes, but also into manufacturing excellence and all. So we, as a team, coined a definition, which I think is very, apt at this point in time to share with all of you. So permit me to read it through, because once I read it, probably you will understand better than if I, memorize it and tell it. For Aarti, world-class manufacturing is defined as assets operating at the rated capacity for a rated life, producing design quality at designed cost of production with zero sustainability related deviations, followed by continual improvement on all the areas like capacity, life of assets, quality, cost, sustainability, while ensuring well-being and development of our people. So if you just get through this, I think each and everything and anything which you do in manufacturing gets covered as a part of this definition. Now this is the definition where we live on a daily basis, not only as a senior management team, but also as each and every person in the organization. So this covers both manufacturing excellence as well as operational efficiencies. Thank you.
Sir, Devendra Kumar ji.
Hello. I come from Cohizon Life Sciences Limited, which was erstwhile Sajjan India Limited. And we come from specialty chemical CDMO type of companies. And as there are chemical companies which are more engineering intensive and more the bulk chemical production, and then there are companies like specialty chemical companies which are more chemistry intensive companies. The specialty chemical companies, especially the CDMO companies. So we come from that. So Cohizon Life Sciences, 3 years back we took over this organization, and then we made our strategy of operational efficiency and manufacturing excellence, and we integrated it with our sustainability strategy, and wherein we defined the 3 pillars. So one is innovation and technology, second is climate and environment, and third is workforce empowerment. So having defined 3 pillars for operational efficiency and manufacturing excellence, we spend heavily in some of the areas which we identified that we need to go in a more extensive way and in a serious way. So we spend a lot of money in setting up a world-class research and technology center and creating a pool of knowledge employees who will be driving the chemistry innovations, and then spending a lot in innovation and technology at the manufacturing side, whether taking help of any new best available technology is concerned. When I will later on go to the topic of sustainability, I will be dwelling more on those aspects of things. And then empowering our workforce and upskilling, because it's very, very important that the mindset of the workforce, which is the key resource to deliver any transformation, that's very important. So we spend heavily on that, and to facilitate them with the with the data and the timely input on information, so that they can really contribute. So what we did, in all areas, we identified whether it is compliance is there, whether it is safety and incident reporting is concerned, whether it is the fuel emission and all those things are to be put in a digitalized form, an online platform continuously available to the people so that they get the real-time information on these aspects. And then learning management system. It's a very, very important area to put up the proper and effective learning management system so that your workforce is actually trained for what you are expecting from your workforce. So the training to the people, so in these areas, and then further working on climate and environment. So here for manufacturing excellence, we created proper, thorough procedure, and then empower various cross-functional groups, cutting across departments, and empowering individual leaders for individual projects and with a team, and then setting up very good review and governance mechanism. So review and governance mechanism. And also we put up the concept of PACA, that is PACA, where you have defined procedure, you have made people accountable, and the people who are being made accountable, they are competent, and then you have assurance mechanism and the review and governance mechanism. So once you have the review and governance mechanism and you have good feet to have this review and governance, so then your efficiency and the speed is accelerated. So it is the very important that the speed, whatever you intend to do, you can do it with laser, with a lot of time. Then in the age of information technology, you are left behind. So speed of execution becomes very, very important. So we define these aspects of things and empower the person who is heading the operations excellence. It should not be such, suppose you keep one AVP or something like that. No, integrate it with the management, define the goal of even the board members and all the leadership teams, put up proper KPIs for them, and then you have the proper review and governance mechanism. You can see this cross-functional teams, they can deliver amazing results, and that is what we are witnessing last 2.5 years. Thank you.
Sorry, what was the theme for going for a brand change from Sargent Industries to Cohizon, and now you are calling it Cohizon Life Sciences?
Yes. So here is the idea about that. See, the Sargent, this company was previously a entrepreneur-led company, and some family members' name was there, although it's a good name. But then we thought that since we are now extensively reducing the focus on trading products and going into the CDMO, then we decided to go for a name change. When we decided to go for a name change, then we had an extensive consultation with our employees and stakeholders, and it came out, few names came out, and one of the name which came out was Cohizon Life Sciences Limited. It's made of two words, amalgamation of two words, cohesion and horizon. In the field of chemistry, we are in CDMO business. So the opportunities are limitless. It's like a horizon, क्षितिज. आप जाओ आगे और आपको लगता है यही है, अभी बहुत opportunity है फिर भी. So it's a horizon and the cohesion. Cohesion means partnership and bonding. Bonding within the employees, the team working within the employees, and the stakeholders, and also the customers. So the name coined was Cohizon. And then it was further added with life sciences. See, previously the focus was only on agrochemical. Our focus changed. We stopped trading and we have put up now 2 sites. One is exclusively focusing on, say, one product name I will tell, that's Magic Pyridine. I will share in the this later session that how we have transformed that. So there it's a it's a building block. It is going across into agrochemical, it is going into APIs, it is going into dyes intermediates. So it's across, that site is giving product which is going across many things. We manufacture electronic chemicals, and there are many more different type of variety of chemicals we manufacture. So that's how this, the name, complete name was given, Cohizon Life Sciences Limited. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Pravindan ji, the same holds true for you also.
Yeah.
From
Good
UPL
evening.
to specialty to Superform chemistries, and also about the first question that I posed to everybody.
So let me start with the first transformation in terms of UPL to Superform. So UPL, as the inception, it's in the agrochemical business, and since having the 50 years of experience, we have escalated a lot in terms of increasing the business in agrochemical. So now the focus is how we can we transform. So at present, our 85% mainly manufacturing product goes into formulation, particularly of agrochemical. And 15% products are on the specialty chemical. So now the strategy is to leverage our skill in terms of chemistry, which we are basically pioneer into phosphorus chemistry. We have good in terms of H2S chemistry. We are strong enough in terms of cyanation chemistry. We are strong in terms of first generation chemistry. So these are our core strength. So remaining in the agrochemical business, we believe that let's expand the horizon and focus on the specialty chemical business where we can demonstrate this chemistry in a better way. So with this philosophy, the name is derived super formation, superlative performance. So whatever we do in terms of the chemistry, it will be super. So that is the objective, the main focus on the specialty chemical business now. With respect to operation excellence, what we believe that the operation can be excellence only if we utilize our resources in terms of man, machine and material very effectively. And we can utilize those resources if we upgrade our operation with the available technology, with available new upgradation, what is being happen in all around. And in today's, if we see in terms of technology, what is being happen, that has never happened before. So how effectively we can utilize those technologies so that we can leverage our operations very efficiently and very effectively. With this intention, we come up with the project which called Lighthouse, that our Unit 5 location at Jagadia. The philosophy in terms of improving productivity, if we target a single product efficiency improvement there, this can be as a task. We have to improve the efficiency of this product from 60% to 70%. So this can be considered as a task. So we are not working as a task, we are working as a philosophy. And under this philosophy, the project Lighthouse, we have covered entire supply chain. How we can reduce the wastages in terms of non-value added activity. How we can improve the compliance. How can we improve the leverage in terms of our decision making. How we can improve our productivity. How we can predict our breakdowns. How we can predict the performance of the equipment. How can we better in terms of logistic. How can we better in terms of quality and sustainability. So with this approach, we have taken some use cases, we have defined the strategy, create a group of 100 people, brainstorm and define the priorities, which are the key priorities for the business. And with these definitions, we can come out with the 15 use cases. And we have keep dedicated focus, dedicated workforce on defining the area of improvement, defining the way of technology involvement, how we can improve our operations. In last 2 years, wherever we have defined the use case, we have improved our capacity in some of the product by 15%. We have improved the yield in terms of efficiency by 5%. We have improved the efficiency of utility equipment in terms of brine chillers efficiency, in terms of cooling water efficiency. We have reduced the breakdown. We have improved the safety performance. So mainly we have a combination of continuous and batch process. And wherever the safety in terms of process safety, we have improved the process safety in terms of putting controls and AI mechanism. In terms of behavioral based safety, where people is working, we have kept some AI based cameras so that we capture the unsafe activity and we give the message to immediate person so that we can harmonize the behavior of people at the shop floor who are working. We have improved in terms of the quality. So we have introduced digital twin software so that we can do predict in terms of what will be the quality when the batch is processing onward. So real-time data capturing, data analytics and digitization helped a lot in terms of improving our performance. So with this approach, this is the philosophy that will help in terms of reducing raw material consumption, that will help in terms of getting the maximum output from the equipment, and that will help in terms of capability building of the people. So at present, we have implemented this lighthouse project at our Jagadia site. We are targeting next 3 years, we'll scale it to other operations also. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I would request Mr. V.C. Narsinghani ji to give his views.
Good evening to all of you, my fellow panelists on the dais and participants from industries. Well, Mr. Prashant ji has chosen 2 words, operational efficiency and manufacturing excellence. Both go hand in hand. It's very difficult to understand for many people. But there is a difference between 2. Operational excellency talks of cost of a product per unit. It has 3 pillars: people, process, and tools. There are various tools which can be used. Concisely, if we talk of professional efficiency, get more from least. Have more product at the least cost. You see, cost is a basic, it is a cutthroat competitive era. We have to control cost to stand in the market, to increase our profit. If we don't control cost, we will be out of the market very soon. And cutting down cost is not an easy system. It needs lot of training. In the last panel, Dr. Santosh said that learning and after learning, that is earning. And after earning, that is stop learning. People stop learning after earning. No, it is a continuous process. We cannot stop. You see, only 20% people keep on learning after the college stage, when they pass the college. Afterwards, they stop. You ask them, they don't keep even a single book in their house. They don't have even an hour to read in 1 month or in a year. They don't have. So, learning is a continuous process in order to control the cost. Otherwise, you cannot control the cost. So, 3 pillars of operational efficiency: people, process, and tools. Process optimization, cutting cost. What is manufacturing excellence? Manufacturing excellence is a continuous improvement we require. It cannot be stopped. People say, after अभी तो 50 साल हो गया प्लांट को, सब कर दिया improvement. No, it is still improvement is there. If we go on thinking, if we stop thinking, yes, 50 साल हो गया है प्लांट को, अभी there is no further scope for improvement. No, there is a scope for improvement. We have made an improvement in the material transportation system after 40 years of operation. There were 4 material handling operations. We eliminated one of them. 25% of the cost came down. So there is always a scope for improvement. So there are 4 pillars of manufacturing excellence. One is safety. Without safety, plant cannot exist. Second is quality. Without quality, we cannot sell in the market. Third is yield. Without yield, we cannot minimize the cost. Last is productivity. Produce as much as you can. Produce as much as you can. See, Japanese came to us. They gave us a plant for urea and 100%. We were able to run the plant in a stage-wise at 140%. They came back to us. अरे आप लोग कैसा चलाते हो 140%? हमने तो 100% का प्लांट दिया है. So what I say is there is a scope for improvement, and improvement is permanent. There are obstacles and threats to manufacturing excellence also. Capital. Many companies do not have capital. Compliance. No. Lack of leadership. Resistance to change. Demand in the market. There are many, but this can be overcome. This can be overcome. See, no resistance is permanent. No obstacle or threat is permanent. It is for us to overcome the threats. As such, there are no threats. But it is for us to overcome the threats. So, plant will run if we put our heart into it. Thank you, sir.
Just to add to what Mr. Narsinghani said, we have an example in Aarti where there is a plant running with a specific process for more than 20 odd years. Last month we have identified there is a possibility to run the same process without one of the raw material itself. Now see that. And this has not come from our internal expertise. Now this has come by having some discussions of some type with the external world. When I say external world in this particular case, it is the academia. The academia, there is some research happening somewhere, there is some operation happening somewhere, and there is a complete sort of a mismatch. Now, incidentally, these two came together, and now we are exploring that process, which not only will make the process simpler, but also make it much more competitive. Today, the competition has been that, from last 2-3 years, the chemical industry is going through a very, very tough competition especially from China. Now, there is a cutthroat competition of 1 rupees a kg, 5 rupees a kg, 10 rupees a kg. So, this is one. Second, when you are thrown with such challenges, like there is a product you are selling in the market at a certain price, let's say, just for an example I take, say 300 rupees a kg. Now, the same product is available from China at 220 rupees a kg. So overnight there is point comes, now you have a target. If you have to sell it in the same market, you should be producing less than 220. Now what first thing will come to the mind of anybody who is in the manufacturing? What will come to our mind? Ye kaise hoga? Am I right in saying that? It's well experienced. I think most of you would have experienced. But then the important aspect in that is, if you don't do, you can't survive. So that is also a fact. So now the here comes, to survive in the market, you will have to put efforts to bring into that. And then you start thinking what you have not thought earlier. And exactly in the similar example, in Aarti, in the last quarter, I would use the word, there is a product where we have been, and I have that, earlier I was working with UPL, and I'm sure such examples were there in UPL also. I cannot name the product publicly, but what I am today told by, Pravindan is, where I left that, they have reduced it further down. When I left at that point in time, we were saying, isse niche nahi jayega. But today, it is even 40% less than that. So the message in that is that opportunities always exist. What is the need for that opportunity, and how much efforts we are likely to put or we are going to put will determine whether we will remain in the market or not. Thank you.
So with the first round coming to an end, now I go to specifics, and we will try to focus on risk management. Pravindan ji would be focusing on that. Technology, Mr. B.M. Patel would be touching on that part. Process intensification, Mr. Subhat Kumar Jindal will be focusing. Workforce management, Mr. Vasudev C. Narsinghani ji would be focusing. Sustainability, Devendra Kumar Ray ji, and regulatory compliance, I think Anant Pande would be focusing on risk management, sustainability, or regulatory compliances. Regulatory compliances is entangled with technology as well as sustainability at the same time. So let me start with Pravindan ji on the risk management part of it, because the more risk you take, as both of you have been talking about, that without even the raw material you are trying to get the product, which was not the case earlier. And then from 100% you are moving to 140%. So this is what the risk taking can take you.
Yes.
Over to you, sir.
So, as you mentioned that when we are going to accelerate our growth and going to grab the more opportunity, there will be a risk, and there is no rewards without the risk. But how should we manage those risks? So in terms of now new era, using the technology and new AI-based methodology or philosophy, what are the risks certain while adopting this philosophy? One risk is technical overreach. So jumping into the technology without deciding the strategy. So sometimes it is the feeling that the peer industry are in the digitizations and there will be a feeling of missing out. So let's go into the adopting the digitalization, and there will be a one-way communication that we have to use digitization to improve our efficiency. So technology overreach will lead to, in terms of, we can say, falling nowhere. So technology overreach is one of the big risks. If you don't have a strategy, if you don't have a resources, if you don't define the what we want to be in terms of which area we want to invest, then our investment will be no more. So this is one of the big risks. We have to ensure that there should be a right strategy. It should be top down. There should be a right target. There should be a right technology selection. Otherwise, there is a lot of what we can say managing the technology cost. So there should be proper evaluation in terms of investment versus the cost, and how we can get the benefit in terms of long scale. Another is what we can say that the operation fragility. If you overreach on investing too much on technology, then single point failure can disrupt our operation. So we should not be over dependent in terms of technology. There will be a people who are going to manage the technology. So we have to be balanced between the technology and the people intervention together. Third one is the data and cyber security vulnerability. There will be a mountain of data. There will be a huge data ocean. So how we manage this data, how we can interpret those data, and how we manage the risk of what we can say the failure and security of this data. So we should have a strategy in terms of managing those data, in terms of the privacy of this data, and how effectively we analyze. So this technology selections and how we can interpret those data very efficiently. That is the another risk if we don't define the entire action plans on it. And third one is the workforce disruption. So once we are investing on the technology, one of the psychological factor will be that if we are automate our operations, if we are to rely on the technology, then manual intervention will be less. And people have psychological threat in terms of their contribution with respect to the operation. So if you don't address it, because ultimately the people who are there who manage the entire technology or the operations. So we should ensure that there should not be the interruption in terms of the people. We should invest equally while we are investing into the technology itself. So I think these are the four risks the organization has to keep under the mind. And when we are developing, when we are transforming ourselves, we have to be with the strategy. On the lighter mode, if I compare in terms of our ancient grace, if we see the 10 avatars of our Bhagwan, each avatar come with the strategy with the different transformation. Initially much, जो सिर्फ पानी में बह सकते थे, then it comes with the Kashyap avatar, पानी के साथ जमीन पे रह सकते थे, then it comes with the Varaha avatar, जो एक शक्तिशाली पशु था, then it comes to the Rosi avatar, न पशु न मानव, then it comes to परशुराम अवतार, मानव वामन अवतार, मानव था बट छोटा था, उसके बाद परशुराम अवतार क्रोधी थे, unable to control the emotions, then Ram avatar and then Krishna avatar, it's a Purna Purushottam. So Bhagavan has also transformed himself as per the situation's requirement. So we have to transform the business with the strategy, then only we can remain in the market. That is, I believe. Thank you very much.
It is good to see the delegates very active and thank you all of you. BM Patel sir, your company is, I will give you my mic. Your company is focusing on digital transformation in a big way and has also identified a digital partner. So if you can, after having focused on the risk management part, if you can talk on technology and how is it benefiting you? Are you also looking at some lighthouse projects just like Jubilant Ingrevia has done?
Yeah, thank you, Prashant. Yeah, so Prashant, like you said, lighthouse. So we are running one transformation journey. And we have, with a input from all our partners, customers, employees, suppliers, we have identified one program name that's Blessed. And Blessed, if I abbreviate for you, is becoming lighthouse, that BLESS, becoming lighthouse through exemplary safety systems and excellence in digitalization. So that is how it is blessed, and we believe that God will also bless us with this transform God. Why exemplary safety systems? Because it's licensed to operate. Like sir said, without that, you are nowhere. For example, ICI was there, who taught most of the chemical industries a hedge of those magic words, but that company doesn't exist today. So it's licensed to operate, and that is why it is embedded in the center of everything what we will do in the Blessed. And that is also through digitalization. So, and why digitalization is important? We are a commodity bulk chemical producer company. Just for information, we are dealing with 4.5 million ton materials per annum. Million ton caustic, million ton chlorine, 1.5 million ton salt, million ton coal, and 500,000 ton other chemicals and other waste generated out of the product. That is how it's 4.5 million. So if I say 1 paisa per kg of coal, I will be able to save 10 lakhs rupees a year. So 1 cent convert into 10 lakhs, and that is how we are saying variability is our friend to improve our cost of production. So what we are doing? So we are doing digitalization in safety, EHS systems, which is licensed to operate, in logistic operations, because we are dealing with 4.5 million ton material transportation. So it invests a lot of cost in logistic as well. And then processes, because if you are producing 2.5 million ton product, there are processes, and those processes will bring a lot of variability. Believe me, like Pravindan said, a lot of transformation is happening. The same way, a lot of transformations are happening on technological side also. Like if you look at 1800 era or 1900 era, how the people were working, power was not there. Water and steam was getting used as in power. Same way, 1900, power came into picture. 2000, we all see internets and Internet of Things. And so, like India took a lot of time to build $1 trillion, same way at that time it took almost century to transform from one tech to another tech. But now, since 2010, you are seeing a lot of transformations. You cannot, even Kamwali cannot work without technology. So that is the kind of technological revolution we are seeing. And it's going to become way of working. And that is why we are focusing on efficient, effective digitalization system. So we are, if I talk about what we are doing in terms of digitalization, is we are only single process. It's a electrochemical unit operations. But input and output is driving our cost of production. So input is cost, power, salt, and chemicals. That drives a lot of variability. You know, salt is inorganized way of producing salt, so a lot of impurities profiling will be there, and electrolysis process, though it is established technology, fewer, only couple of people are there to provide the technology for electrolysis. like Sir said, so we also got technology from Japan, AKCC. And certain things were there. These are the mandatory parameters that you must operate within this range. But those range was very widen. And that is how idea came in. How can we improve our electrolysis efficiency? So this was the first thought in one of our operator mind. And that has provocated thought process of entire leadership team. What can be done? How can we reduce variability of what operator doing on daily basis? So then we were having DCS systems. I'm sure everybody is operating nowadays with, after 2000, whatever plant has come up in the country is through DCS, lot of PLCs. Even a lot of compliances are also coming through continuous environment monitoring system, whether it is water related, wastewater, or the emissions related problems. But all these things will give you variability, and those data were working on the island mode. All these systems were not talking to each other. CMS was not talking to what process data are. Operators were not seeing what they are seeing in whole section around of the process. They were in the silo. So when we did the data mining of electrolysis through our distributed control system, which was giving a lot of data, billions of tags were there. But there was no proper mining. There was no story built behind those data. So we set up the historian. And this journey we started back in September last year. Set up the historian, did the data mining, data science, generated the algorithms, did the mathematical modeling, and then presented to operator. How do you see this? If this model tells you that if you have to take operations by what model says rather than what you think. And then operators say it is difficult because rather than model, I can do better because I am 25 years experienced person and I have run the process like this. And that was intentionally was done like this because any transformation, like someone was saying, is resistance to change. Resistance will be there. But there is a process of transformation. Initially, resistance will be there and people will try to adopt it. So we built those things also in our thought process by bringing digitalization and developing the prescriptive-based mathematical model. Then we took his input, which was anticipated that he will provide this input, did 2-3 alterations in the model, and they said, wow, I can do this. And since last 3 months, we are operating that model and we are experiencing 2 to 3% efficiency optimizations. So perhaps it was there earlier also, but it was not consistent. So for example, we were taking parameters in 60 minutes interval. Now we are taking parameters in 1 minute interval. And so we have bring down variability, perceived variability from 60 minutes to 1 minute. And that is how consistency is coming. Same way, we are operating multiple power plants, and these power plants give the feeding to the electrolysis. Like I said, power is the basic input for any electrolysis process. So we have 5 power sources, and all these power sources have different efficiency, different technology. One was in power PF technology, another is CF technology, third one is CF heat technology, fourth is grid power, fifth one is renewable power. So there is a different efficiency and different cost of production of power. And because we are one of the largest in the country, so we have all A to Z electrolyzers also, all 26 electrolyzers we are operating, and they are hardwired to some of the sources, power sources. So operator have to make choices. So lowest cost of power should go to the highest efficiency electrolyzer, right? That is the way this has to be operated. This is theory, this is ideal things. But it is in later, not in spirit. So how we can bring this into later and spirit? Do some kind of modeling, and model will predict for you, okay, this electrolyzer is remain to be idle or 20-60% less capacity utilization for certain period of time in the daytime. And this power plant has an ability to feed you certain power over there. So model tells to the operator, do like this, and now operator is making those choices to use the most efficient power to the most efficient electrolyzer. So this is the second algorithm we built, and we are saving couple of crore, double-digit crore of rupees in this last 4-5 months. third is logistic. We are handling 4.5 million, 700 trucks a day. So you can imagine, UPL is saying they are handling 200 trucks, and we are neighbor to each other. We are handling 700 trucks, 900 trucks in 3-kilometer area. So you can imagine external challenges also, internal challenges also. Turnaround time is the key driving factor to improve the logistic. And this cannot be done. We are in a country where transportation is highly, highly unorganized. Driver behaviors we know. So we did some digitalization over there, like exactly what you are seeing into the toll plazas. Same thing is happening over there, where you are put in, put out, automated way bridges, going to the, whether the storage tank or unloading stations, digital journeys, and turnaround time also reduced from 6 hours to 3.5 hours for most of our liquid products. Still we are struggling. Still we are not there where we want to go. But we are confident that we will achieve whatever we want to achieve through the digital transformation. Regarding Lighthouse, yes, we are also aiming to become Lighthouse certified site by World Economic Forum. And for that, there are certain prerequisites. We need to have certain infrastructure, digitalization infrastructure, which is we are building now. We have set up our own cloud setup. We have our own historians on-site, off-site, in the cloud, and more than 50,000 tags that we have in terms of sensorization for the entire site are talking to each other now. All DCS, PLCs are talking to the middleware software. Middleware software goes data providing to historians. Historians' data are fetched by the clouds, Azure clouds set up in the clouds, and then data mining is happening, and that way we are getting nice story. Yesterday this plant was run like this, and this data tells you you would have operated this in this way rather than this way. So lot of change in way of thinking and way of taking actions on routine basis. So this is what transformation is. And but at the end of the day, we are businessmen, so we want to save. So what is the aspiration we have out of this is, we believe that we will be able to save perhaps 100 crores of rupees in cost base of 1800 crore. So this is how we are perceiving these transformations, by adopting technological effective modelings. Any questions you have? Yeah, thank you.
Lighthouse and also related logistics and process. Anant ji, if you can talk on the regulatory compliances, this is a very hard thing to follow. Not an easy task, because the stakeholders are not only government, it is also public, it is also law enforcing agencies. So keeping in view, how do you make a chemical look attractive from a regulatory perspective?
Sure. So, when we talk about regulatory compliances, obviously there are challenges in every field, whether it is cost efficiency or whatever. But when we talk about regulatory compliances, one basic challenge many companies used to face, at least in the past, was this was considered, any investment on that, this was considered a burden. I'm talking about times maybe 10, 15 years. Progressive companies have, over the years, overcome this mindset and have been trying to do things. Wherever there is a payback or a return on investment visible, these investments are obviously done, and everybody would do that. So first challenge which all of us, I'm sure, would have gone through this phase was how do we overcome this mindset? You know, at one point in time, and I'm talking about not very long ago, maybe a couple of decades back, the view was, yaar, manage kar lo, adjust kar lo. I mean, this was a very standard thing, magic words. But today, it's become a matter of survival, and we have multiple examples in the industry where companies have had major failures by not sticking to compliance related issues. whether we call it ESG related compliance. We have classic cases of various environment related violations which have led to closure of companies, and I'll not name specific companies. There are many companies in the chemical sector also which had to go through these various closure related issues. Now, apart from a profitability or business loss, this is a huge dent on the reputation. So on the company's image, because most of the companies are in export market, have become global, everybody primarily, a large part of them. And customers look at your ESG performance in terms of, so any incident which has happened or an accident which has happened in an organization is not taken very lightly, because today every multinational company is looking at partnerships. So I mean, gone are the days where you may have 5 suppliers and you can buy from anybody. So sustainability of operations is obviously a key factor where the customers definitely look at. And that's where a large part of compliance-related matters come into. So environment, when we talk about, we've seen safety-related, there are multiple businesses which have closed down, various fires for not having valid NOCs. So many small-scale or medium-scale industries, we keep hearing fires happening and industries closing down. Huge dent on the reputation of the organization, apart from obviously the business loss which is there. Governance-related matters have had, multiple examples. Enron being a classic case where a lack of governance led to the closure of a giant. We've had Lehman Brothers. I mean, huge, big examples in the industry. And there are many such cases in a chemical industry also. So obviously there has to be a very, very clear focus, and companies have realized that this is now a matter of survival. It's not a choice. It's not something which you can manage or you should manage. It is something which is absolute imperative now, that we have to comply. And everybody, all organizations have their compliance portals where, compliances are being monitored. The challenge is on the reviews, which we see, at least in the industry, that everybody there are times when people would say, because somebody mentioned, I think Mr. Patel also mentioned about mindset, somebody also mentioned, कि यार 20 साल से ऐसे ही चला रहे हैं, आज तक तो कुछ नहीं हुआ, kind of attitude. So when it comes to working on compliances, people will say that we are complying, where there might be a concern. And that's where I definitely believe that reviews are becoming so critical, and this is one big area. Now, apart from these, the various other opportunities which these regulatory compliances also give is in terms of various opportunities, because a lot of these compliance-related matters are SOP-driven. So you have to follow SOPs. So whether it comes to variability of processes, which Mr. Patel also mentioned, also throws up a lot of opportunities, when we talk about. And companies today are going beyond compliance. So compliance sets basic minimum requirements that, okay, you have to meet, let's say if it's an effluent-related thing, you have to meet a certain BOD, COD levels. But companies are seeing that there is a lot of opportunity there, and every organization is looking at identifying various improvements. Deepak Nitrite in the last year has done multiple initiatives on environment cost reduction, whether it is recycle, everybody talks about 3 Rs, recovering wealth from waste, all these things, reducing cost of logistics of hazardous effluent. So these are definitely not necessarily a compliance requirement, but these are an opportunity which is created for operational efficiency improvement also. One of the things which we have realized is that when we talk about safety-related issues or compliances, if you look at our accident statistics globally, 99% of the accident would happen with the shop floor guy, is a person who's doing work with those own hands. But the safety reviews happen in a conference room where the senior team would be doing the safety reviews, ki yaar itne accident hue, why root cause analysis, fish bone, why XYZ. But it doesn't really percolate down the level into the shop floor. So what we had started many years back in various organizations, and we have done this in DNL also, we have involved our shop floor teams for doing the hazard identification and risk assessment. So what we mandated was that any material entering our plant gate to the finished product going out of plant gate, all the processes which are involved, whoever is doing that process, a team of 2-3, would do the probable risks in this. So a systematic HERA. So this definitely we have seen, and it's a journey. This is a mindset change, culture change. It doesn't happen overnight. But we are at least seeing there is some involvement which has started happening, because then they are given opportunity to present in front of the seniors that kya kiya hai aapne, and whichever language. It could be Gujarati, Marathi, Telugu. I mean, this is where we have our plans. So we are definitely seeing definite benefits which are coming to the organization. This is definitely a journey. When we talk about compliance, it is a given nowadays. There's no escaping this. It's not something which can be managed. It's absolute imperative. I think I'll close here.
So Prashant, if I may. So like sir said, so in my experience now, most of the companies are moving from compliance to commitment. So compliance is minimum. Now we should be above the law, and that is how most of the promoters are also committed to maintain the safety as license to operate, environment as license to operate. So moving from compliance to commitment.
Good. Just one example to share, very interesting. In one of the organization where I was working, so we implemented a recycle project, and Indian Chemical Council awarded us, award for water conservation for the year, in which it was implemented. I was presenting that case study in Ankleshwar in a forum like this. So there was a question came, for that recycling project. But once you recycle it, then the cost of the water which comes out and we are putting it back into the process is certainly much higher than the cost which you get the fresh water, right? So at that point in time I'm talking, the cost was somewhere around 400 rupees a KL for the reverse osmosis plant and the ZLD plant, whereas the fresh water was at about 25 rupees, 30 rupees a KL. So there was a question from the participant that if you are going to purchase water at 400 rupees, how will your business survive? Valid and very interesting question. And if we compare it like this, you will never be able to do that. So then the answer to that was, if you keep getting fresh water, then this is costly, undoubtedly. But what if you don't get the fresh water? If you don't get the fresh water, what will you do? So you'll have to shut your business. And to sustain that business, probably at that point in time, this value will be much lower than the loss of business which you will have at that point in time. And believe you me, this discussion happened somewhere in the month of January, and the very next summer, there was a complete closure of the water supply from the river nearby, and there was no water available. And we were able to, operate the plant because we have done that project. So, if you compare it, like this, you will not get it. But you have.
There is a report from Coherent Market Insights. So we will launch that report, which will be a food for thought for all of you before you go for dinner, and then we meet again tomorrow at the same time. We will start at 9, the registration process, and we will again begin tomorrow at 9:20. So over to
Yes, sir.
Vasudev ji.
Yes. Mr. Pravindan Gadhavi ji rightly mentioned that we have to put in investment to upgrade the skills of workforce. You see, this is the need of the hour. Workforce at the operator, technician, and first line supervisor and officer, they really need to upgrade their skills. And how to upgrade their skills? See, it is through training only. There is no other way. Now you see, you have a block diagram as well as a flow diagram before you. Both are same. One is block, another is flow. But that is already available with us. What to do with it? Nothing to do. Process is running as per the flow diagram. No. We have to think whether we can eliminate any step or can we combine two steps into one step and bring down the cost. See, that is the way to look at the flow diagram. Otherwise, flow diagram is there. What to look into it? From that angle, we have to look. Now you see, if you take unit operations in the plant, all unit operations are equally important. But our operators and technicians and first line supervisors are aware of the details of the unit operations. What has to be looked into? There has to be looked. Say, a pump is running. Yes, pump is running. Suction pressure itna hai, discharge pressure itna hai. But what is the efficiency of the pump? What is the ignored area in the centrifugal pump is the check valve. Nobody measures pressure drop across the check valve. Some people may be measuring. I won't deny that. But it is it is an ignored area. If the pressure drop across the check valve is more, power consumption will be more or flow will be less. One thing will be definitely there. Who will take care of it? See, we always see pump is running. Yes, it is giving flow also. But at what cost? That is through training only. Upgrading the skills. Cooling tower. It is supplying water at the given temperature. But is side stream filter installed? Cooling tower has nothing to look in that section. It affects the heat exchanger at the other end, in the other section. Due to fouling and scaling, both cooling water quality and cooling tower temperatures are important in that way. But are operators aware that how to look into the cooling tower and what impact does it have on the downstream side? This is through training only. Otherwise, it is not possible. Third thing, no production people and maintenance people don't look at the inventory. Inventory is there. Okay. See, raw material inventory, they are aware of it. They control it. Spare part inventory. 70% of our total inventory is spare part inventory. What is the inventory carrying cost? It is around 20%, 18% to 20%. If we take 20% and if we have 10 crores of spare parts only inventory, 2 crores we are every year losing. 5 साल में तो wipe out हो गया. That doesn't mean that we should not have spare part inventory. Yes, chemical industry, because of the nature of the plant, we need inventory. But can we bring it down in order to bring down the inventory carrying cost and in order to increasing our profitability? Are we looking at it? Tomorrow, if you go back to your office or day after tomorrow, you look at the spare part inventory. What is the amount of spare part inventory in your own plant? And it will be around 60 to 70%. And that inventory carrying cost you count. If you bring it down by from 10 crores to 9 crores, still you are increasing the profit, reducing the cost. See, this is through training only and upgrading the skills only. Otherwise, it is not possible. See, operators have their own limitations. I don't say they have their own limitations, but we have to upgrade the skill continuously in order to be with the market. Otherwise, we'll be out of the market very soon. We'll be out. One plant, I told it was running efficiently. Now the cost of production has increased. If the cost of production has increased, bring down the cost of production. Is it not possible? It is possible. See, it is very easy to say, कि भाई नहीं हो सकता है. It is possible. If we look into each and every aspect of the plant, certainly we'll be able to bring down the cost. There is no doubt in it. Certain. Change the layout. See, I was also placed in the warehouse for some time. I am a man of production basically. But I was placed in the warehouse. What change I made? My central store, bagging was at my central store. I shifted that bagging storage at the site of bagging. And thereby, every day there was a saving of internal movement of the material by 300 rupees. See, 300 rupees from 2000 till today. You count. 300 rupees cost was in 2000. Today it would have been more than 2000. See, cost saving has to be there. Otherwise, who will think of locating the store from this place to that place? It is a small thing. But that is through flow diagram. Otherwise, I also draw the flow diagram of non-technical things. Material coming here, shifting there. Why it cannot be shifted over there? Why it cannot be shifted? See, there is a scope. Always there is a scope to bring down the cost. Don't say it is not possible. It is always possible if you look. I was selling the scrap. I had 7.1 lakh bags of ammonium sulfate phosphate, costing 7.5 rupees in those days, 2000. I had 1 lakh bag, 7.5 lakhs was the cost of the bags. It was not utilized since, because we have stopped the production of that product.
Sir,
1 minute. It was lying in the store for 7 to 8 years, sir. When I floated the tender, I got 4,000 rupees to lift 1 lakh of bags. 4,000 rupees. I said, nahi, hum nahi bechega. 7.5, 7.5 lakh ka bag, 4,000 mein kahan se bechega? I went to the marketing department. I said that I have got these bags. What to do? I have printed one side with the product specification and price. He said, you cross-brand it and print on the other side, fresh side, whatever product you want to bag it. I bagged it. I printed the bags. I saved 7 lakhs of rupees. It cost me only 40,000 rupees to reprint the bag and use it. There was resistance from some department also. In 7 years, it might have lost its strength. I said, yes, you may be right. I will check the strength of the bags and then come back to you. Tensile strength of the bag was okay. Drop test was okay. The bags were okay and it was utilized. Thank you, sir.
thank you.